Hey folks, welcome back to the GardenCraftStation. It's the end of June, and that means we're on season 2. So for this summer, I'd like to talk about recipes, what to do with your produce, talk about native plants, do some hikes, and see what else we get into. So stay tuned. Alright folks, so as you can see this year, there's a real bumper crop of peas. I'm just getting bag after bag of peas. These are all shell peas. What you do is you just crack the husk open and slide the peas out. It's a little bit time consuming. So I can't eat this many peas and they'll last a few days. So what I'm going to do is try to freeze some of them, and I'll show you the steps involved. But basically what I'm going to do is plunk them in boiling water to blanch them. They only take about maybe a minute or two, and then immediately you want to transfer them to cold water because you're not really looking to cook them. You're just trying to shut down the enzymes that break down the peas and cause them to degrade and lose their sweetness. So we blanch them in the hot water, quick cool them down, let them dry, and then we're going to put them in a freezer bag and try to get as much air out as possible, seal them up, and then freeze them. And they're good for 6 months to a year if you properly store them. So I'll walk you through. Okay folks, so you want to get your water boiling first. That's the first trick here, because the enzymes need to be brought up to temperature to shut down so they don't turn the sweet peas into starch. You don't want to cook the peas though any longer than you have to, or they end up mushy, especially if they go in the freezer and then you thaw them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop them in. They're going to sink at first, and then within 20 seconds or so they're going to start to float, and when they're all floating it's time to drain them. We put them under some cold water, shut down the cooking process, and then we're going to dry them. So here, let's begin. They should start to float in a moment here. Okay, they're pretty much all floating now, and I think we can probably take them to be drained. I'm going to get the cold water started. What we're going to do is pour this out to be drained here. And the cold water helps shut down and halt the cooking process. So I'm just going to run it under this cold water, really chill the peas down so they don't keep cooking. Alright, I think those are cooled off now. I'm just going to shake off some excess water for a moment, and I'm going to put them on a paper towel to help speed up the drying. So what I'm going to do now is just pour these onto a paper towel. That should help speed up the drying process. I just kind of shake them around on a dry paper towel, take off some excess moisture. Alright, so now I think it's time to bag them. So a couple things. One, you're going to want to get freezer bags, and these have this double zipper that helps keep in the moisture. Now, the other trick about freezing things is that most of us have what are called auto-defrost freezers, and how that works is that warm air actually circulates around inside the freezer and it melts off the ice that's forming on the sides. But what that means though is that the food that's along the outside also gets warmed up a little bit, and that's what causes freezer burn over time. So if you have an auto defrost freezer, which you probably do, you want to try to pack these towards the center of your freezer to avoid freezer burn, or put them bunched up with other items, because those near the sides and walls tend to freeze more. You can even kind of wrap it in a towel if you want within the freezer, and it should prevent freezer burn. And so we're going to use this double Ziploc bag. We're going to fill it about halfway. That's pretty good to me. You don't want to overfill it. And what I do here is a trick. I close the bag about 90% and then just leave a little bit open. And then you can either push or even draw the air out yourself. You just kind of get the air out. And then once the air is out and there's a little bit of a vacuum in there, I just kind of shake the peas around in order to flatten them out so they store better and you can stack them. That's pretty good. Now we just want to date it and they're ready to be frozen.